everyone. Welcome to First Chapter Friday. I'm Miss Kate. Today I'm going to read to you from a book called The Gauntlet by Karuna Riazi. This is a super exciting, fun book about a board game that traps the players inside like prisoners and they have to escape from the game. It's a really fun, exciting read. So I'm going to read you part of just chapter 1. It's Farah's 12th birthday, and she's having a birthday party. She's just moved to a new neighborhood and a new school, so her party's not going exactly how she planned. So here it is, The Gauntlet by Karuna Riazi. The front door opened and closed, and more of the kids from her new school filed in through the doorway. Most of them were accompanied by their mothers, with a few harried-looking nannies bouncing younger siblings on their hips and locating odd corners to deposit overflowing diaper bags. They waved and said nice, polite, meaningless things. Farah knew she should go greet her guests. It was the right thing for a good Bangladeshi girl to do. But most of these kids were still strangers to her, and she was a stranger to them. On her birthday, she wanted to avoid having the kind of small talk that happens between not really friends. She especially didn't want to discuss her scarf. It was a question that Farah had never heard at her old school. She hadn't been the only hijabi in her class in Queens. There, everyone had known the proper name for it and did not try to tug at the end or ask how her hair looked underneath it, or if she even had hair. Now, she went to a school in downtown Manhattan, where she was the only hijabi in her class. Farah moved herself to sit on the couch by Essie, who had busied herself with a game on her phone. Last year, Farah would have had no problem breaking the silence and suggesting a fun thing to do. And now she felt unsure. Should she suggest they play Monopoly? They had spent hours playing board games last year, but today the suggestion felt little kiddish. What if her friends didn't enjoy board games anymore? Should she ask about school, or would that only bring attention to the fact that she wasn't there? And anyway, no kid wanted to talk about school. Farah's thoughts were interrupted by Essie. "Let's do something. I'm bored," she said. "Me too," said Farah. She immediately felt awful. This was her party, and her friends were already bored. "Can we open some of your presents?" offered Alex, looking up from his book. "Maybe you got something cool." "My mom probably wouldn't want me opening any gifts until after the party. It would look rude taking them off the table around all the guests." "What about the gift your aunt got you? Didn't she say it was upstairs?" asked Essie. Farah thought back to the presents Aunt Zora had given her over the years. A set of fruit-patterned knives from the local BJ's for Farah to learn her colors, clothes in the wrong size and in odd, erratic patterns from unfamiliar Bengali boutiques back in Dhaka. The kind of presents you'd expect from an absent-minded grandmother at Christmas, ones offered without any particular meaning or thought. "It's nothing exciting, I'd guess," she said, "but we might as well check it out." Farah, Alex, and Essie grabbed some snacks and headed upstairs, Essie balancing 2 plates piled high with samosas, fried vegetable pakoras, and 1 or 2 overly syrupy sweets that would no doubt spoil their appetite. Alex taking up the rear and anxiously peering over his shoulder to make sure their escape wasn't noticed. Farah's aunt was staying in a guest room, and when they opened the door, they found Ahmad holding a square package wrapped in plain brown paper. "That's my gift!" Farah ran in and took it out of his hands. "How did you escape Aunt Zora?" Not that Farah needed an answer. Ahmad was really good at wandering off without detection. It was one of the reasons Farah kept such a close eye on him whenever they went out. Ahmad stood up on the bed and started jumping. "Open it! Open it!" Farah didn't know what was inside. Still, she was overcome by a feeling of something new, something strange, something hovering in the air as fragrant and weighty as the steam of Ma's cooking pots. It piqued her curiosity. She peeled back the paper, pushing away Ahmad's greedy hands as she worked. Soon, a polished wooden corner emerged. Finally, the entire thing slid out of the paper into Farah's hands. She held it up to the light as Alex craned his head over her shoulder. It was a game, a board game most likely. It had the same square shape of a regular game box, but it was sturdier, antique-looking. The dark wood was emblazoned with carved images, palaces with domes and elegant spirals and high arches, a fearsome spider with its fangs horrendously large and carefully rendered, an elegantly curved lizard, a sparkling minaret, and a wasp-waisted hourglass. And at the very center of its cover, in broad letters, was written, "The Gauntlet of Blood and Sand." Essie's eyes widened as she leaned forward to look, her mouth a small O of delight and excitement. "Wow," Alex breathed. Ahmad jumped up and down with excitement. "I want it, Farah Apu," he said. "I want it." "What is it?" Essie said. Farah's hand paused over the wooden cover. "I don't know what this is." Before she even finished the sentence, the game started to vibrate. So that's the end of chapter 1. So check it out if you want to keep reading The Gauntlet by Karuna Riazi.